It is just about 11 a.m. here on the East Coast. Former President Donald Trump will soon leave Trump Tower in New York City. He will then travel downtown via motorcade to the Manhattan courthouse, where he will surrender to authorities to face criminal charges. Sources tell CBS News Mr. Trump will not have a mugshot taken when he is arraigned today. Our Errol Barnett is standing by at Trump Tower, and he joins us now. Errol, what are you seeing right now? I suspect that there are a lot of media people around you, but describe the scene.
Yeah, say there, Vlad and Anne-Marie. Around me, what you're seeing is an intensified police posture, security presence ahead of former President Donald Trump doing what we've never seen before: leave his home, head to court to effectively turn himself in and be arrested as he hears the charges against him. We understand that there's been a coordination between not just the Secret Service, but the Secret Service, the NYPD, court security, and the Manhattan's DA's office to make sure that everything happens today without there being any complications. I can tell you there are pro-Trump supporters on the street, driving around in a truck, honking their horn with MAGA flags, and there's also a team of protesters who have images of former President Trump behind bars, saying he needs to be held accountable. And it's because of those heightened emotions, the city, the Secret Service, and everyone who's connected to this is trying to make sure the media is protected, the general public, which is being cordoned off by these metal barricades, is separate from Trump Tower. And you might notice behind me, the entire city block around Donald Trump's New York home is blocked up to the public as well. So heightened security on what is a remarkable day.
It sounds really loud there, but as we know, sometimes a few people can make a loud noise. Just how many people are out there?
As far as protesters, I can tell you there's maybe a dozen. Certainly, there are more media personnel here than protesters, but add in addition to that, you've got hundreds of tourists who are simply just walking by wondering what the heck is going on, taking pictures, NYPD ushering them along so they don't stay in one place. But if you take a look at the messaging from Donald Trump on his Truth Social platform, he's encouraging his supporters to show their displeasure. He's characterizing this entire case as a conspiracy against him. And I think that's why you've got the mayor of New York telling folks you can protest, but do so peacefully. And you have everyone connected with this trying to lower the temperature, because as you both well know, we don't know specifically what the charges are. We expect them to be more than 30 and felony counts as they relate to the president's business practices. But today is the day he finds out in court what he faces. And so we really do have to wait and see what the specific charges are before we can judge really what it is connected to.
All right, Errol, you talked about this coordinated effort between the Secret Service and NYPD. My guess is that it's a planned route to the courthouse. The former president's going to go in, and from what we understand from our legal sources, this arraignment is going to happen very, very quickly. He's going to get back into his motorcade and head straight to the airport.
Yeah, I tell you, that's what's interesting. So at any moment, really, we do expect former President Trump to be escorted via the Secret Service out of the building you see behind me, and then he will be escorted down Fifth Avenue. And Vlad and Anne-Marie, what's remarkable about that is, remember what Donald Trump said during one of his campaigns at his rallies. He said that he could shoot someone here on Fifth Avenue and never be held accountable. And yet today, he will be heading down Fifth Avenue to turn himself in and be arrested. The mayor of the city, Eric Adams, told the public on Monday that there will be rolling road closures, because don't forget, there's a city at work behind me. You're seeing buses, you're seeing supply trucks, you're seeing taxis, you're seeing all the vehicles that are usually in Midtown Manhattan. But this rolling road closure will follow the former president from up here in Midtown down to the courthouse, where there are no cameras inside other than still images. And it was the president's team, his legal team, who lobbied the judge to not allow photographers in the room, which is interesting. We don't expect him, as you said earlier, to have a mugshot or be in handcuffs. And then he will wait until he gets back to Florida tonight to speak publicly about the charges against him. For CBS viewers, we should just keep our eyes on what the specific charges are, on what District Attorney Bragg says during his expected press announcement this afternoon, and compare that with what the president says these charges are as well. This is also a heightened time of misinformation for many people watching this. So it will be another day when we'll need to separate the rhetoric from the reality.
speaking of separating the rhetoric from the reality, earlier you mentioned some of what the former president was posting on his social media site, Truth Social. And it's some of the stuff that we've kind of heard before in terms of the way he's characterizing this investigation, but he's also calling for like specific changes.
That's right. One of the things that the former president posted on his Truth Social platform, which is very characteristic of his tweets during his presidency, in all caps, highly emotive, is he says the venue should be changed so that if this moves to trial and if there is a jury, remember, anything could happen in the days ahead, he feels that he would have a more beneficial outcome with a Staten Island jury, for example. He says because there are more Republicans there. His legal team was earlier lobbying to move the venue to Long Island. His point, the former president's point, is that Manhattan has too few Republicans for him to face a fair chance. He's also said the judge is biased, should recuse himself because he's unable to be fair in this matter. And he's also said the district attorney should indict himself, those are President Trump's words, because of information that the president says was leaked last night about the more than 30 potential felony charges he will discover he faces today. So it is very typical. And again, I say all of that before the president and his legal team have even seen the charges against him. And so the president continues to make that note. He even sent another note just a short time ago to his followers, and his campaign says they've raised $8 million since the indictment. He says, look, I'm going to be offline for a short while as I'm arrested and going through, this injustice. America is not what it used to be. So he is framing this to his fans and his supporters as almost the end of democracy, really quite hyperbolic language, which is no surprise. And so it will be interesting to see how that changes once these charges are announced, once we hear from the district attorney, and once the general public starts to see the case being built against Donald Trump.
Errol, before you go, one of the things that is sort of surreal to me is as I'm looking at the scene behind you as you're talking with us, anywhere else in this country, it would look very, very differently. And what I mean by that is, yes, there's media crews out there because New York City is the media capital of the United States. But you also see New York City life happening behind you. I've seen multiple delivery guys, Errol, ride by you on their bicycles. I see taxis. I see buses. I see people in their car on their way to do their business, whatever that might be. So while there is certainly, obviously, a heightened media interest in this, and you mentioned tourists and people who are protesting and people who are supporters, this is New York, and we've seen, going back to the founding of this city, ticker tape parades at the end of wars and all sorts of things. Nothing phases New Yorkers, so life is carrying on behind you.
Absolutely. I mean, it's kind of surreal for us to be here focusing on what is historic, and then seconds later, there's a few men and women jogging behind me out on their daily run.
I just saw a dude on a city bike,
holding out their cell phones, taping the footage.
Yeah.
And so one thing to remember, and I think, it's a side story, but it is something we will all witness today, is yes, you have a former president being arrested, turning himself in and facing charges, but you also have the biggest city in the country in its most densely populated city blocks getting on with their lives. And so if this does, take place without a hitch, without any major incidents, it will be to the credit of the NYPD, the Secret Service, and all the security officials who have tried to coordinate this massive attention, but also the massive work that so many New Yorkers do every single day. I mean, I think it will be remarkable to watch this rolling road closure go down Fifth Avenue and get to Lower Manhattan, all around what may be a very quick and brief booking, quite frankly, before the president then heads out to LaGuardia and the city continues to operate. So again, remarkable for us as folks who work and live here to see life carrying on. But I can tell you just from my eye shot, I can see dozens of cameras and lights, hundreds of tourists lined up, and you've got the buses and the cars behind me as well. As history unfolds, it's quite, stunning.
A lot of big characters in New York City, but none bigger than the city itself.
That's very good, Anne-Marie. Absolutely.
Errol, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. You got it.